Just 6 of 17 in game one. That's part of this new, deeper Raptors approach. They don't need him to be great to win playoff games. He and Kyle Lowry combined for just 28 points in the win over the Wizards. John Wall, on the other hand, 23 points. He had 15 assists, but the Wizards are up against it as they take the floor for game two, which you'll see right here on NBA TV. Welcome in. It's the Auto Trader pregame here for a playoff Tuesday night. I'm Matt Weiner, Greg Anthony, David Griffin right over there. Game two for the Wizards and Raptors coming up at the top of the hour. And let's get a taste of what to expect from the fellows who will be calling it right here tonight, Pete Pranica and Steve Smith.
In Toronto, plenty of playoff fever at Air Canada Centre as the Toronto Raptors try to do something they have never done in their postseason history, and that is go up 2-0 in a playoff series. Inside Air Canada Centre, Pete Pranica, 6'8" great from Michigan State, Steve Smith. Smitty, the Raptors bench has been huge all season long, and they certainly were in game one.
Pete, you're totally right. When you watch this group, they've been fantastic. They are 36-10 when they score 40 or more. That means they've done it 46 times so far in this playoff game. They outscored the Wizards 42-21. C.J. Miles came in, knocked down threes. DeLon Wright was fantastic. You have Jakob Poeltl, you have Pascal Siakam, and they did all this without Fred VanVleet.
They were the fifth best bench in the entire NBA. Talked to Scott Brooks a little while ago. He says one thing that the Wizards have to do is play at a faster tempo. You know,
Pete, he kept talking to us about pace, pace, pace. They want to push the basketball. They have one of the best in John Wall. They don't want to go against this set defense in a half-court situation. They want to have off-balance offense and push it. The magic number for them is 17 to 20 fast break points. They were outscored in the fast break category by the Raptors by 6. They need to win that category.
Yeah, Wizards only 10 fast break points in game one. That is below their regular season average, and this Toronto defense is just too good. They'll dig in against you.
Yeah, for sure. When you start to look at them, they're long. They have guys that can switch. They have a lot of guys that can do a lot of different things defensively, led by the one rookie that I love, OG Anunoby.
He is very good, and the crowd here at the ACC will be awesome as per usual. Join us at the top of the hour for Game 2, the Wizards and the Raptors on NBA TV.
Fellas, thank you much. Look forward to the call just after the top of the hour here tonight. Bradley Beal ready to go.
Better be holding and grabbing tonight,
Game one. There will be lots of holding and grabbing, according to Beal.
Better
you know what?
Be holding and grabbing.
Got to get used to that. Aside from overcoming that, what do you see as the mission tonight for the Wizards that is going to get this done?
You know, for all the talk of what they struggle with offensively, I think their defense has to improve. And their bench, not so much from a scoring standpoint, but they've got to, I look at their bench, they're kind of like middle relief in baseball. They got to eat up minutes. They got to give them minutes work. Maybe they don't have the statistics, but they can just contain, they can compete in the plus-minus category. Just give me a quality 4 to 6 minute stretches in each half, and then maybe I have a chance. Now, that also means that my starters have to be terrific, but I do expect that Beal and Wall will play better tonight. But I'm more focused, if I'm Scott Brooks, on what we're going to do defensively to slow them down, to keep them out of transition for the threes that they've been getting, keep them from getting the easy baskets at the rim. To me, their defense hurt them as much as anything in that first game.
Well, and Scott Brooks said as much after the game. We let great three-point shooters get off three-point shots, and they paid for it.
Yeah, they did, and I think that's going to happen anytime you're playing in the first game of a series. Sometimes it's hard to find your ballast a little bit. You're going to give up shots you would ordinarily give up. Relative to what you said about the Washington bench, I think one of the really important things is they only had 3 assists off the bench. 3 assists. They had 29 as a team, and only 3 of them came from the bench. That's why they're talking about potentially playing Lawson, because he picks up the pace so much for them. Just really interesting, when Wall was out, this team was actually better from a net rating standpoint with Satoransky in that same starting lineup. And a lot of it was because they ran Otto Porter in the pick and roll on the handle. He's much more difficult to guard in the pick and roll because you can't go under on Otto Porter. He shoots it really well. He's big enough to get it over the top from the middle so that he can make the pass to the corner. Their offense was actually more efficient leaning on Otto some. So I think in addition to trying to get more from the bench, particularly on the defensive side, I think they're going to need to lean on Otto a little bit more and let him do what he did when they played well when John was out.
Brooks liked Otto Porter on both sides of the ball. Kelly Oubre played only 16 minutes, about 10 off his regular season average, and defense was the big reason why. Time for advanced stats with insights from SAP. Raptors, as you may have heard by now, were dead last in assist rate last season, assisting on 47% of their made baskets. That's 30th out of 30. This season, they're up to 11th in the NBA, assisting on 59% of their buckets. Plus 12 is the differential, the largest increase in the NBA. And for more stats, go to NBA.com/stats with insights from SAP. So, Griff, how much more difficult has this fact made the Raptors to guard this time of year?
Well, it's interesting. I really believe that their starting group has played very similarly. I don't think they've played a radically different style of ball. I think what's happened is DeMar DeRozan is more willing to take the three-point shot when he gets it in the natural flow of the offense. Even if he doesn't make it, he's not holding the ball, refusing to take the first one and then taking a worse shot that opponents run off of. If you just take the first one when the floor is balanced, we have a much better chance to get back defensively. What he was doing quite often, and Kyle would do similar things, is they would turn down that first look. Now they have much more trust that if they get off the ball, they'll get it back, and they can take a shot more within the flow of the offense when it happens.
And I think the other two things I would say. One, I think DeMar DeRozan has become more of a willing passer, and he's cut down the tough shots. I thought last year he'd take 4 to 6. What I call I call them tough. Some people call them bad. But as great players, they can make tough shots.
Yeah.
I thought he took about 6 to 8 a game. I think he's down about 2 to 4 a game. And what that does is it creates trust with your teammates. So when they know you're going to be a willing passer, they cut harder. They move better. They space the floor better because they're now not spectating. They don't have to buy a ticket to the game. They're playing with you. And I think his ability and willingness, that's why his assists are up. And their ball movement is better because of that. And Lowry's the same thing. Like they're much more willing to make just a hockey pass, right? They're not looking to make the assist pass. They're making a ball movement pass that forces the defense to shift. And that shifting is what creates those rhythm shots that you're seeing them get more often. And I think that's one reason why the offense clicks at a much higher rate.
Well, and this is the other big benefit of their bench playing like they do. They move bodies and ball at an alarmingly high rate versus the rest of the benches in the NBA. That means they're performing well enough that you can keep resting DeMar and Kyle. And there's been much less demand placed on them to this point. I always felt like Toronto ended up losing a war of attrition as the season and the playoffs went along. That won't necessarily be the case this year.
Dwayne Casey said in Game 1 he thought Lowry was fresher this time of year as a result of the reduced load he's had on him the entire season. All right, more coming up. Wizards, Raptors, Game 2 at the top of the hour. Big Game 1 for Serge Ibaka, and we'll hear from him when we come back.